My name's Tony Dodds. I'm 41-year-old. Your heart's been ripped from us. I can't fucking fight anymore. I'm just going through day to day, just thinking why? What's my purpose now? I can't even get punched in the fucking head.
It's going to be a sad interview, this one, isn't it?
Fucking hell, man. Oh, no, where's the fucking vodka and cocaine? Oh, what's life anymore? Fucking hell, man.
That's it. Just put these on.
Oh, he's back to his shit.
Just get the killer strikes in there with both of that killer strikes. All mongs anyway, it's alright. Go Doddsy.
Kieran.
Just have a bit of a chat to you. Just
Alright.
say a bit about yourself.
No bother at all. Thanks for offering us this and giving us this opportunity, you know.
Anyways, first of all, if anyone doesn't know, do you want to tell us a little about yourself?
I'm Tony Dodds. I'm 41. I've been fighting about 15 years now. About over 50 fights, 54. And just recently been a bit shit. I was matched up for your show for MFP against a very tough lad. I was very excited to fight him. But unfortunately, got with a bit of an injury. It's that fight's off now, and unfortunately, it's the future of fighting, competing as a fighter. That has to be knocked on the head.
What I'll do, we'll see up for the end. We'll just get about where we're started.
Right.
Tell us how did you even get in?
Originally, I was in my 20s. I was just partying too much, making loads and loads of bad choices. And one of the lads at work mentioned at MMA gym what he knew about, and he asked if I wanted to get involved. I said I'll give it a go. And we're there. At the end of that day, we went. It was Stevie Black's gym in Riot at the time. Went there, see what the crack was, see what the class times were, and then we went back later on, done a strength and conditioning class, and realised this is
Well, you love it from the get-go.
from there, I loved strength and conditioning, loved that sort of environment where people's pushing themselves all the time. Started off with wrestling and the jiu-jitsu in there, which I totally loved. I loved that environment and realised, this is, it was in my late 20s, I think it was about 27 or 28. And from there, I knew that's what had been sort of missing. That's what I was looking for, kind of thing. And I got introduced to Spartan Gym, and I started the kickboxing, which I knew that was my true passion.
As well asked that, which one was your favourite of all the combat sports? Obviously,
being introduced in the martial arts community, I loved that. And then when I started with the kickboxing, that's what I knew I had the real passion for.
Why was your real passion?
I like kicking and punching people. That's what I loved. And that's
how many fights did you have in kickboxing compared to MMA?
I had my first taste of combat sports, competing in combat sports, where I'd done a grappling competition. I think that was in 2011, but a bronze medal for that. I was quite proud of that. But then I started with the kickboxing. I want to say as well with Stevie Black as well. He was a class coach. He was the one who introduced me to the martial arts community, and he was fantastic grappler as well.
Was it easy to pick up, or did you struggle picking up?
Well, I'd never done anything like that before. Never punched anybody. Never been in any kind of real fight or anything. Outside of the gym. That's a little scuffle before, and I was a long story in Grindon before. The lads who
you asked us.
All right. I was just, I can't exactly remember all the details. I remember I was at a house party. I think what it was, I think it was the last who was there. Who was so if we start with them, the stories with the women will not be about it.
Well, we're just one story about
that's what I don't know what it was. It was something with the last week. It was class who the lad who was didn't like that or something. I don't know, but they just few of them tried to jump us. I didn't know what I was doing. I was so scared. I've never been in a fight. I think it was 18 or 19 then. I remember the start on us, got us in the front garden. I just jumped out the garden thinking, look, I'm back over here. But I didn't know what I was doing. I was so scared. One of them came up to us. I remember I nutted him. And we had a bit run about. And then it stopped. We were like, oh, look, we'll sort it out when we're sober. I was like, I will it. But I was just so scared. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fight. I don't like this kind of conflict. But that was sorted then. But I'm like mates with one of the lads now, and that was sorted. That was just so that was the only experience I've had with any kind of physical conflict. No, that was a long time ago, but I would then I've just avoided it my whole life because it's just so scary. Any kind of complete, I don't know how to fight at that time. So that starting in the martial arts community, that gave us like the kind of confidence what I've always been looking for, and what I'd never had before. But I had that grappling competition, I think 2011, I think it was, and then when I started the kickboxing at Paul's Spartans, I had my first kickboxing fight in June 2013 in Clayton Social Club against a lad called Gareth Longstaff, who we ended up with a bit of a rivalry. We respect him so much, and he's a mate now. And that first fight was a coin toss. I was just so scared. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was thinking at that time, why am I doing this? I cannot have a fight. I don't know what I'm doing. And it was just from the start, exhausted, just flinging me hands and legs about, not knowing. And it was a coin toss. It could have went either way, but I got the decision. It was a split decision. It could have went either way as well. But then from there, when I got my hand raised after standing toe with another man, that was like, that's what I've been looking for my whole life. I was like, when I won that fight, I don't know how I won. I still can't remember much of it. I was just exhausted and scared the whole way. But from there, I was absolutely hooked. And then I've just went from fight after fight, just agreeing at any fight anywhere in the country. And like Paul would always be in my corner, and that was that was class. That was sort of like the start of my journey, and it just hasn't stopped since then. Just continuing to fight from 2013, having my first fight in the ring. And then just constantly going forward up to 54 fights.
How did you work your training around work? You've always been...
Well, it's like I work in Nissan. I've been in Nissan now over 19 years now. It's a massive part of my life. I'm really proud of my job. I'm a team leader in Nissan now. I'm super proud to say that. I take it very, very seriously. But I've only been a team leader a couple of years. So before then, I work in a department called Trim and Chassis in Nissan, where the lads and lasses, we directly building the cars. Very extremely physically demanding. So I've always had to. That's always been priority. That I've always got to get to work. Always got to do my job. But I've had to all through trial and error, just find what's the best way to train around that. Just being exhausted all the time. But there's a point of being exhausted all the time, and then a point of where like it's not sustainable. I can't keep doing that. So over and just not having any quality of life, just being completely exhausted, being too knackered.
I was going to say, especially when you're in fight camp as well. And I'm assuming, especially doing the MMA side, there's big weight cuts, isn't there?
Yeah, well, that's sort of like I've never really had to properly cut weight. I've always kept around fight weight. I've always fought about 65, 66 kilo, and I've never really went. Like, I've always walked around in early 70s
to avoid that big weight cut.
And I've like, see, from that first fight, I thought, right, I want to get as much out of this sport as possible. That's so I've always trained. I've never been a pig with food. I've always kept myself like around about a decent weight. Then when I've trained for a fight, I've only got a little bit to lose.
That's it. So it's benefited you more than doing the massive weight cuts. Or looking back to think, you wish you'd done some massive weight cuts, or do you think?
I definitely, I could have got lighter than 66, but like with my lifestyle, with my job, there wouldn't have been any quality of life. I've always fucking lived in reality. I've always been realistic. There's no way I was making any kind of living, making any kind of money from sport. I knew it was always going to be a hobby and a lifestyle. There's absolute killers in the martial arts community who's trained since we're that big, and they're still not getting the shot kind of thing. And I was like in my late 20s when I started. I work on Nissan, and I was never ever leaving my job to try and pursue a dream. What was like a 0.001% chance of happening. It probably is even less than that.
Well, you enjoyed, Scott?
I realised I loved having a fight.
Out of all your fights, which one would you say is your favourite? Have you got any standout ones?
There's been a few over the years, like what's completely changed me as a man and made me realise like it's like I was actually alright at it. Because I've always thought I've never been the best technical fighter or whatever, but I know I can get in and have a scrap. And there's been a few where I thought, they deserve to be to be part of this, you know, because I've always thought I've never been good enough kind of thing. Because I've just went and fought anyone, anywhere, and sometimes I've just not knowing what I'm doing, especially on the Tier 1 side of things. But I chose to go to Tier 1 after doing the full contact kickboxing, because that just gave me more opportunities of being able to fight. And that I've never been a good Tier 1 fighter, but just my toughness got us through it.
Which fights in particular then?
So the ones, the first one I'll never forget, getting my hand raised after that, I was a class 1. It was one in my most active year was 2018. I had 9 fights in 2018. I won 7 of them and lost 2 of them. And then that 2018, so I had my first Tier 1 fight without shin pads. That was like out of a film. That was class. We thought it was in Billingham, Ron Gray show. It was for amateur Tier 1 British title. It was a lad from down Kent. You see, amateur Tier 1, we wear shin pads. We never had a Tier 1 fight without shin pads, so I thought out of it. And then the fight, before we were meant to go on, that fighter suddenly said, "Oh, he's not wearing shin pads." So we were like, well, that was a great. If they wanted to do that, maybe we could have prepared for it, because we took condition our legs, but we didn't know anything about it. So Robbie and Paul then were in my corner at the time. They said they're going to go and speak to the promoter, see if we can get it sorted. But I went and just had a word with a lad in the changing room. I went to see him. I said, look, we had to get shit how you said that, but this close as well, we're next. And he was like, I don't know the exact words, but it was around about, oh, look, he wants to do things properly now, by fight Tier 1 properly. I was like, oh, that's fair enough. I said, but it's this close. Maybe if you said beforehand, we could have sorted something out. And I remember he said, oh, look, I understand if you didn't want to get in the ring. I was like, oh, look, I'm seeing you with that. You had to watch it there. But I was like, right, we're doing it. So when Robbie and Paul came upstairs, said, look, we're supposed to promote, sort of run off. If they didn't agree, we should go our shin pads. The fight's not happening and I automatically get the title. I said, oh, well, I've already had a word from him. I said, we're going in there anyway, we just got to do it. And you were like, oh, fuck. But I saw that was happening. It was like the first time I'd fought Tier 1 without shin pads on. And I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it was to us. It was that wasn't planned, wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't even that good at Tier 1 anyway. I didn't know what I was doing. But I got in there and God, he was bigger. Because this one was 67 kilo, that one. God, but bigger and he was stronger and he was an experienced Tier 1 fighter. And it was a 5-rounder. The first 2 rounds, I got beat up. My legs were killing. And I was just thinking, oh, God, but nothing was is that significant. Well, I was thinking, look, I'm getting stopped because I've never been stopped in any fights before then. So I thought as long as I just grind through this PM, the 5 rounds, he'll get the belt and then that's it. We're not going to do this shit anymore. And so I saw, we got the first 2 rounds, beat us up. And in the 3rd round, I'd say, I don't know, he was beating us up first half of the round. I just thought, oh, look, just try and put it on him. I'm all right. I'm conscious. I'm still walking. My legs are still working. And I caught him with a nice left body shot. And I'd seen it in his eyes. I was like, fuck, I'm out to make a thing weird. So I'm just going for it. I just pounded his fucking liver. And then he went down. He was like, fucking hell, yes. What I shouldn't have done on a decent angle. I went down because it was such an emotional time. I was like, aye, stay down again. So I just couldn't believe it because I was getting knocked in my head. I was getting beat.
Brought a comeback.
Aye, and so that was that game. As he was going down, I hit him a little bit as he was sorted down, but it was not bad. Then I remember the ref. It's on the video as well. The ref give us a telling off. I was like, I'm not bothered. Just let us back on him. Then I just got him again, body shot, and then I don't know if I caught him on the head or what, but he was down. That was it. We won because it was I knocked him down 3 times in the round.
Right.
And that was honestly, it was like a film. I remember in the video as well. You see in my corner, cheering. It was in the corner there was Robbie, Paul, Carter, and Stu. and and it was class. It was like something out of a film, because I was in my mind, I was beat. So that was one of the massive highlights.
It's like proper max though, isn't it?
And it was,
So the attack the other fights thinking like, I've done it before. I'm
aye,
big.
that was a massive thing for me. Like, often to be beat and then coming back from that, and like there's been a couple it was in 2018 as well. I had my first 4-man boxing tournament, like unlicensed boxing tournament. We didn't know what we were getting into. One of the promoters from Bedlington, it was in the Bedlington Social Club. He messaged us, said, "Do you fancy doing it? You get 250 quid, and the winner gets a grand and a nice belt." Like, I was down for it. So I went in the first fight. He seemed all right, but not named with a body shot. I was in the second round. That was a height of emotion as well. I remember in there, I finished him, and then I just jumped out of the ring straight away without getting announced, because it was just a mad experience. I got tell like I'm back in the ring, and then the final with that, it was someone called Right Olavici, who was now I know he's been a professional fighter, lasting longer than I've been training. He was hard as nails. He's been the hardest puncher I've been in against. And we had a 5-round war, and like after that, he got the decision, which was totally, like, they deserved it. But we went the distance, we punched each other while away, and then I realised, like, I hadn't had many boxing fights, and I only had a few boxing fights. I had a kind of few full contact kickboxing fights, but I realised, look, I went 5 rounds with this an absolute killer right, and it was. And that was a massive thing, thinking, look, I'm all right at this. And then on in 2018 as well, I had my first professional rules K1 fight.
How'd that go?
I got told it was an excellent fight to watch, which that's so rewarding when people say it's been entertaining. I was about a lad from Millennium Martial Arts, Tony Cunningham's got that race class coach, and one of these lads, I fought a few of these lads, and that was against a lad called John Cairns. And he went the distance, he got the decision, which was totally fair, but that was a really exciting thing. I fought K1 as like professional rules, so that was a good one. Them were the only 2 fights I lost on 2018. I was against John Cairns and Right Richard.
Out of your fights, how many were MMA? How many were?
All right, on 2018 as well, I had my first MMA fight. I was on Anthony Josh's show. I was Generation of Combat back there, and I'm quite confident to saying this. I think I was the first fighter in the Northeast to come out with rave music. I'm very far, so I started that. I really believe I started that. Right? I could be wrong, but it wasn't on that show, on Anthony Josh's show. Like, people come out with rave tunes, but I was the first to come out with the MCs in the background. I don't know if people thought, if they'll not work, and it does fucking work. We all like a big rave, and I'm qualified for. I'm the only one qualified for that. Well, one of the only ones qualified, because I grew up cutting the monkey. Right? Yeah. And I think I believe I started that. It was a tune, it was House Beat with Tazzo coming out with that on Generation Combat, and the crowd loved it, and I think that was the start of people coming out with rave with MC.
Which I trademarked it.
And that was so that was me. So I'm glad I've started something, because that now gets the crowd going in a fight show more than MC in a bit rave.
Yeah, right. Like,
but and
this is the best.
I took the risk doing that, and it worked. So that's I think that's my thing.
I think everyone has its right now.
I've already one who qualified doing that, because I grew up going the monkey. It's that was my first MMA fight in and that was class. I won that.
I mean,
that was that definitely helped. It really does. But that's a different kind of thing, getting in a cage, and that was a different kind of nerves and fear and adrenaline what I've experienced. But that was class, and I love that. I love MMA. Over the years, I've had 7 MMA fights, won 4, won 4, lost 2, drew 1.
Right.
That was
And what about the boxing, the K1?
I don't know about that, but the full contact kickboxing over 20 fights, boxing over 10. The K1, I think over 10. Well, all together I've had 54, and my overall record is I've won 29, lost 21, and drew 4. That's what.
I had some hard fights. And easy.
That's the thing. I've any fight what's come up, I've took everything. They say. I mean, I've fought a few journeymen over the years, but that was just because it's been pull outs last minute. But definitely the majority is being against people this similar level or better than me, and that's all I've done it for, to test myself. That's the thing what I'm proud of as well. Like, I didn't back down to anybody. Like, people who I shouldn't be fighting, that I've went and gone in the ring with them. And it's one of the things I'm very proud of as well. I've never been knocked out or stopped with body shots, stopped weight shots. There's been one time, 1 K1 fight against Levi Thompson, solid little mint K1 fighter. He took me sore with leg kicks, and I realised that was my last K1 fight. So I think that's an accumulation of not recovering, being able to recover properly. As soon as I started getting kicked in the legs properly, I realised, like, with my lifestyle and my job, I can't recover enough as what I should. I was just sick of limping all the time limping, and just gone through work limping every day. And obviously then I realised I went as far as I could with K1 and realised I can't deal with that pain anymore. I was just getting of leg kicks.
How did you find it when you went to unlicensing the boxing?
Yeah, that's class. That's what I love more than anything. Just standing toe to toe with another man, just flinging hands. But I've never been really close to being stopped or knocked out either. I've been in my early fights. I've been dropped a couple of times, but I think that was more than shock than anything. I've always recovered when at the end.
Right.
And I've only ever been hurt twice with headshots. There's the one where I like Wolf HA calls were a lovely left hook. See it on the video, I stumble a bit, but then I recover and I finish strong. So I wasn't close to getting stopped then. And a fantastic kickboxer from Scotland, Jack Owens, who's a professional boxer now. 8 quarters was something for, and that was the first experience of having a temple shot where it completely knocked my equilibrium. And you see it on the video, I'm stumbling all over, and I got caught. I was all right. Then just everything went. I felt like I'd just been spinning round and round. But then I knew I had to recover that round, and then I finished strong in the round after. So that's something what I've got going for. Like, for me, I realised I've got a alright chin. That's and that's gone on the unlicensing. That's why I'm excited with the small, because I'm not having to dig.
You can't learn to give that.
That's
But the next bit I was in, not as happy to talk about was the mess of memories, but just so that now, just do you want to tell us a little bit of like what's happened with your sort of medical history, like recently?
You are? I loves injuries. What was the rehab like? what I have tried is supplements with like training I started.
really nice.
Don't get very nice. Over the years, has there been any niggles or injuries, anything that's kept you back? Or
Few things. Well, I've sort of, with my job and training, and just I've got the mental fortitude of just constantly pushing through pain. I've adapted to learning how to get good with pain management. I'm just always in pain. That's just the way it is. And but I sort of recognise when some things are a little bit more serious than others. And I've done a long time ago, it's about 10 years ago, my calf went. I always remember that I was in a class, I think kickboxing class at Paul's. All I'd done was take a step back, and I thought somebody slapped us on the back of the calf. So like, there was nobody there. I was like, what the hell is that? And then I put weight on it. I thought, oh no, there's something wrong here. Still went to work, still done like a couple of hours of work, and then just realised like this is something really bad. So I had to go to hospital to get it checked, and it was a tear. It was like, I think a grade 3. It's either grade 3 or grade 1. What's the most severe one? And that's I didn't realise I'd done this for a tall calf. They put a cast on, that was for 2 weeks, and then a moon boot for about 6 weeks.
did you still try and train that one?
No, that was one where like that had to get fixed, because that was really bad. So that was one of my bad injuries I've had. And then and after, in 2023, I was sparring one day when we had the gym at Hendon. We was sparring then, and I just felt something go on my bicep, and I carried on, and then, I carried on that round, but then I stopped sparring because I knew something wasn't right. And it was Lou who looked at it, he says, look, that's the same injury what Paul's got. You want to need surgery? I was like, shut up, man, because I was doing day press-ups. So I was like, hey, that can't be rating true enough. I went to get it checked, and that was the thing. So I'd snapped me bicep tendon, and I needed surgery.
How long did it take to recover?
It was quite quick, to be honest. I think it was altogether, I'd be my arm in the cast for 4 weeks, and then I just started just keeping me weight there, and like I had to learn how to do everything with my left hand. Like that was wiping, and that was but I got really good at it. Like, that was I would that was a tough one, and it was I remember the day of the surgery as well. On that night, I nearly flung the towel in and got an Uber to back hospital because the pain was unbearable. But I got through it and got better and better. But I saw that was and from the consultant's advice, he says to not do any training for 6 months, and then in a year you'll be all right. But I think that was like that's for maybe people who just don't train or anything. And like after 4 weeks, I took my sling off, and I just started doing some just light exercises. And when we last session with a consultant, I told him it was funny. It was at South Sage Hospital. It was originally one of the doctors, and he says, "Oh well, by the looks of it, you didn't need any more checkups." I was like, "Hey, bother." So I was driving out the car park, and the consultant phoned us, said, "Look, Anthony, that's what my name is in hospital." And no, Anthony, my name's Anthony. So he said, "Anthony, you need to come back in here." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Can I get out? Hey, I'm at the pause there.
And he sat us down. He says, "I've just been told," this was the consultant, "I've just been told you've been training." I says, "Oh, I out just a little bit, tiny bit." And he says, "Look, if this scans again, we'll kind of fix it." And I says, "Oh, look, I promise it's very light stuff, but I'm recovering now. It's all right." He says, "Look, just very light weights." Because I said to him, "That's all I'm doing." And he says, "Oh, well, like, what is, you say lightweight? Is it really lightweight?" I was like, "Look, I promise," because I didn't want to go through this again. And so I thought that was funny because he phoned us to come and tell us off, to get back in and tell us off. So I like that. I like when they like give a shit like that.
I didn't.
So that was that. And I started in pads again after about 6 weeks, and it was just getting better. Like people know their own body better than anybody. And I knew this was getting better. And I took a fight on November. So I had the surgery in July 2023 and had a fight in November, which was So that's I was another fan, one of the best full contact kickboxing fights I've had against a lad called Kieran Blackburn and West Beans. That was class. He was hard. He was a hard puncher and a hard kicker, and that was class. Well, when I was blocking the kicks, I was thinking, "Oh, I shouldn't have done this. It was brilliant knocking." But I thought, I'm knocking it. But the next day, it was all right. So it was,
at least we got through it.
Oh, definitely. That was a nice highlight one as well. Loads of people said that's one of the best full contact kickboxing fights I've seen. Entertainment, plus, I mean, shit, though, people say, "Oh, good fights," but when I didn't win, like, it would be better if I won. But it's class. It's so rewarding.
You've never in a boring fight, were you?
I try not to be.
So how did you work around your injuries, prevent injuries in the future?
Well, I started lifting weights more. I used to fight at 66 kilo, 65, 66, and now I fight at 80. Because I think it's really important now. I'm in the early 40s to make sure everything's stronger. You like bones, ligaments, and your muscles are strong. And the best way to do that is lifting weights. So I've been concentrating on that more as well.
And do you feel healthier outside, obviously, the fighting world at this weight? Like, do you feel better? What?
Loads better. Loads better. So this is I'm gonna continue weightlifting as like a part of my training routine. So got matched up with Pick. Like I say, I've watched these fights. He's like and doesn't take a step back, which is very similar to my style. And I was trying to be fireworks that fight. I was there because I know he's proper gamers out. hard as nails, and that's sort of like with similar kind of mentality and fight the way I fight as well. It would have been class. So I've been training hard, preparing for that. And one Sunday, I think it was 3 weeks ago, just we spar on a Sunday morning, woke up with bad head, thought nothing of it. Just I usually get bad heads, and I still sparred, but it's every round didn't feel right. Every impact, even with my hands up, didn't feel right. And at the end of that, I had concussion symptoms, which wasn't good because I've never felt that before. Well, when I got home, I had a shower and I felt very nauseous. I reached a little bit as well because of the pain in my head. I wasn't sick. When then I just had to lie down and close my eyes and just nod off a bit. And I, meant to get in the sleep with head injuries, but I was just knackered. I was top exhausted. But that wasn't right. And then from then, I still when I was normal, done a little bit training, a little bit running, a little bit pads. But I knew I couldn't spar with my head like this. And I just thought nothing of it. But on the morning, the headaches were brutal, really brutal on the morning. But I just got through it. And it got to the week after on the Monday, it was getting quite worse on the morning. It was still all right through the day. But because it's being constant as well. It doesn't go away. But on the morning was brutal. So I thought, look, I'm going to get checked out just to make sure. So I went on what day one now? Saturday. It was last Wednesday. Was it last Wednesday? Last Wednesday. Went to the hospital because got a CT scan. They said there was swelling on the left side of my brain. That's where the pressure is and the headaches. They wanted to get some advice from the RVI. So I had to wait there for a while and said, look, come in for an MRI scan tomorrow. So I went for the MRI scan, said there's a bleed on my brain, which was, I thought straight away, like, that's it, brain surgery. Or there might be something. I'm going to want to end up a cabbage or something here. And I was so scared. But I
what?
I was doing that before, and then after when I got the MRI scan on that night, look, I was in hospital ages because they didn't know whether they wanted to take to the RVI. I was staying there. I was in there till 1 o'clock in the morning. I still didn't know, and they finally said, "Oh look, you're subbing in." So I was in this was last Thursday. I was in from hospital from Thursday to Saturday, and the consultant said they were fantastic, by the way. That loads of people badmouth the NHS, and I think they're just shitbags. And it's because you get that it's practically free. It's when pay with national insurance or whatever, but we didn't pay there at the door. You know what I mean? And them are there to help us. And people complain they've got to wait longer and just for bullshit things. But they're fantastic, the doctors and nurses in the NHS. So that was them on there when I was in on there. I think on the Friday, the consultant showed us the scans of the brain. Showed us where the bleed was, where the excess blood had been causing pressure. And he says, look, which knee surgery is required, which was a massive relief. I was buzzing about that. But he says, I want to have a serious talk with you now. I know you fight, and if you were my son, you wouldn't be getting in the ring no more. And I was like, sure, is that it? And no more fighting. And he says, look, I can't tell you what to do. You will go on, man, do what you want. But if this goes again, it could cause death or severe brain damage. And I didn't want to die, and I didn't want to be a cabbage. So that's the thing. Even though it's been a massive part of my life for 15 years, it's like my identity as a man. I think I can come in here and have really hard rounds at anyone. I can take fights like that. Even though I'm in my 40s, I'm thinking, I can just still fight. And that's been took away. Shit, but God, it could be so much worse. There's people in this world with genuine fucking real problems. Just because I can't fight again, that's not the end of the world. You know, so I didn't want to complain too much. It's because I'm still all right. It's not like I've caused any serious damage. I've still got all my functions. So it could be so much worse. I mean, like I say, it's been a massive part of my life what's took away, but I'll still always train. I'll still keep reasonably fit and strong, and I'll just do what I can to sort of help other fighters because of the experience what I have gained over the years.
See that what you're going to do yourself? Are you still going to stay in the gym?
Well, listen, it gave me so many valuable skills as a man and as a fighter, like being around the martial arts community, having the likes of you, Lou, Robbie and Paul around us and all the fighters. It's been It's been a life-changing journey, but I'm not trying to just distance myself away from it now just because I can't fight. I was on still train and still do bits. So that's obviously things like this, which I really love as well. Like being you giving me the opportunity for this, which is I really like it. Just to be able to like tell me story a bit. So I appreciate that, and like I'm good at that. I'm never going to be able to fight on your show. I was really looking forward to that, to be a part of that. But I appreciate that, like him. Right, thanks so much, mate.
Anyone straight through.
I just like everyone who's been part of the Spartan gym and other gyms as well, who's given me opportunities to let me fight on their shows, let me fight their fighters, because it's been a fantastic journey, life-changing journey, which gave us so many skills, which going to help me through the whole of my life as well. So and obviously Paul Graves, who's created Spartan, and like now we've got Lou, who's one of the best coaches about, and we've got Robbie as well, and obviously yourself, Justin, who's been a massive part of the martial arts world. It's class.
Nice one, well done.
Yes.
Well done, that way.